Hello everyone, welcome to Air with Trees podcast. I am Fatima, the host of this show. Trees are one of my favorite beings in nature and I enjoy learning about them. There are not many podcasts that talk about trees, so I started this show to spread awareness about some common Indian trees. Every week, I share my stories related to the tree of the week, describe it to you in detail, and then help you with keys to identify it in the wild. So come along with me, let's explore the beautiful world of trees. The atrocious summer heat in India is welcome if it means a sweeter yield in two of my favorite fruits, namely mango and lychee. I have already made an episode on mangoes in which I have poured my heart out. So if you love mangoes too, do check it out. And today's episode is all about lychee. Whenever the summer season peaks, my inner self becomes a child again, waiting eagerly for irresistibly sweet and fragrant lychees. Listen to some of my memories of this tree before I move on to discuss it in detail. I don't have a single story about lychee trees. Instead, I have small memory fragments to share with you today, which are special to me in their own way. It was in my maternal grandmother's place that I first came across mighty lychee trees planted many generations ago. While I don't remember them clearly, what I do remember is that I enjoyed relishing mangoes and lychees from the orchard there. And my cousins, sisters, and I did full justice to those fruits by devouring them with ravenous appetite. I suppose it's not only how delectable lychee is that makes me enjoy the fruit and look forward to the summer season every year, but also how many of my happy childhood moments are related to these rosy pink fruits. After those childhood days, I have seen lychee trees many times. Two instances come to my mind more than others. The first one was when I visited the house of my dad's friend last year. In his front yard, among other trees, stood a single lychee tree. It was not too tall, but had a dense, fluffy crown, full of midnight green leaves and dark pink lychees. Those lychees not only had a beautiful color, but they both smelled and tasted super sweet. The kids in our family made the whole gifted batch disappear overnight. And who are we to complain when we did the same in our childhood? The second instance is not an old memory but a recent encounter. Last week, I decided to go on my morning walk on a different route than my usual one. It's not an unknown road, but I hadn't been there for quite some time. While reaching the end of the road, I noticed that many quails were singing while hiding in the dense leafy branches of a tree. When I reached the gate beside which the tree stood, inside the campus of a private property, I was pleasantly surprised to see that it was a lychee tree. Standing beside the gate, I was just under the cool shade of its boughs, and I stood there for many moments listening to the syrupy sweet song of quails. Just looking at its lush canopy full of strawberry pink fruits against the backdrop of richly colored dark green foliage put me in a cheerful mood. I couldn't stop talking about seeing this tree for the rest of the day, much to the amusement of my family. Like I said, when it comes to lychee, my inner self becomes a child again. Sitting down with a big bowl of lychees, relishing the de-seeded fruits one after another, is an experience of a kind. And then there's the experience of watching these graceful trees. Now that I know that I have a huge lychee tree so near my house, you can count on me to go and watch it every now and then, albeit from the outside the compound. Otherwise, as the board outside the property claims, the trespassers will be prosecuted. Lychee chinensis or lychee can be written with different spellings, but they all have the same pronunciation. The genus name lychee comes from Chinese, which refers to the fruit of the lychee tree, and the species name is Latin, which means of China. The lychee tree is the sole member of the lychee genus. It belongs to the soapberry family, a family whose members are popular for their edible sweet fruits such as rambutan and longan. Another reason that makes this family special is the presence of an interesting compound called saponin in the leaves and nuts of many trees, which makes them a good foaming cleanser for clothes, skin, and hair. That's the reason why the family name is soapberry. The most famous member of this family with this property is the Indian soapnut tree or Rita, which is widely used in India as hair conditioner and clothes detergent. I will cover it in another episode. Now, back to lychee. Lychee trees grow to a tall height with a dense, bushy crown that gives the tree a nice, rounded, and graceful look. Now that I have explained the basic facts about this tree, let me explain to you its various distinguishing features. The leaves of lychee are pinnately compound. They are arranged alternately in a stalk. The long oblong leaves have round base and a tapering pointy end. The leaves look a bit wavy and mostly point downward, which gives them a droopy look. The leaves cover the branches so densely that even on a bright sunny day, there's a perpetual shade under the tree. Since it's an evergreen tree, the leaves only fall off when they are past their age and not during any specific period. The new leaves have a reddish tint that turns to a beautiful velvety shade of dark green upon maturing. That's a very good reason to call this tree a handsome one. The flowers of lychee are small, similar to the flowers of mango trees. They are light green or white in color and hang from the branches in clusters. The flowering season depends on the local climate, but mostly happens around the beginning of the year, so that the fruits are ripe by the peak summer season. The flowers don't have any discerning fragrance to humans, but pollinators such as honeybees flock to the trees in large numbers and help the trees in cross pollination. I have seen large beehives hanging from lychee trees on several occasions. The honey made from lychee has a mild floral scent and is light amber colored. Once the flowering season is over, the fruits begin to form. The fruits hang in large bunches from the branches. The fruits are olive green when they begin to form, but turn pink as they start maturing. When unripe, the fruits are sour or bland and are not fit for consumption. The tree needs a high summertime temperature, after which the fruits turn ripe and sweet. The color of the fruit is dark pink when fully ripe. The skin is rough and bumpy, and although it seems hard to touch, breaks apart easily with the fingers. The lychee fruits are drupe, with a whitish, translucent flesh just beneath the skin, which is the most sought after part of the fruit. The flesh is also called aril sometimes, which is the part that covers the seed. This part is juicy, has deep floral fragrance, and tastes, in simple words, divinely sweet. The aril wraps around a single shiny brown oval seed that is not edible. The lychee is mostly consumed raw, but is also turned into juice, kheer, and sweets at home. Its fragrance is so refreshing that it is commonly used in cosmetic products such as soaps, shampoos, perfumes, creams, and so on. Since the fruits don't contain any essential oil which can be extracted, the scent and flavor are artificially created to add to the packaged foods such as juices, ice creams, and jellies to attract young customers. The kids especially love lychee fruits for their refreshing sweetness. But a word of caution, as lychee contains a trace amount of toxin and might be harmful if consumed on an empty stomach or in large quantities. But is it even possible to consume lychee in small quantities? Even as an adult, I struggle with this. In fact, it is better to consume lychees within a few days after they are bought, as the fruits get spoiled easily even after refrigeration. Either the fruits start drying up or they start fermenting. So while it's not good to overeat anything, do eat up your lychees fast without worrying too much. The bark of lychee trees is dark brown in color and is rough to touch. Lychee wood is hardwood, so it's strong and dense and has nice reddish brown tint and smooth texture. Although lychee is mostly known for its sweet fruits, the features of its wood actually make it a popular choice for making high quality furniture. However, as the wood is very hard, it needs very sharp and strong tools to work with. Lychee trees are ubiquitous in India, and yet surprisingly, they are not native. The native habitat of lychee is southern China, where they were initially found in the wild. Later on, with trade and travel, this tree thankfully came to India and is now found in many home orchards, roadsides, and parks. Not to mention, India cultivates lychee extensively and is one of its major exporters. Lychee is naturalized in India as the Indian weather suits it perfectly, hot and humid, along with the right kind of loamy soil, particularly of eastern and northern states. Its dense and beautiful foliage makes it a great tree to plant in avenues, although it's not commonly planted in city avenues. I suppose because trees with showy flowers are given preference. It is not surprising to come across this tree among native trees in the jungles too, thanks to the birds, yet it is not included in the list of trees of India in tree field guides. The same goes for other common but non native trees like guava. Many birds build their nests in the branches of a lychee tree as its thick foliage gives them a good cover against predators. The birds that can peel off their skins, such as parrots and crows, also enjoy the fruits and can even be pests in commercial orchards. Monkeys, squirrels, and bats also like to relish these sweet treats. Many people like to experiment with the lychee fruit and turn it into various dishes and treat it as a star ingredient in their dishes and drinks. I suppose I will give a try to a few recipes I have come across while researching for this episode before commenting on their palatability. But then again, whatever dish lychee is put in, I'm sure it will come out very good and delicious. Now that I have described different aspects of this tree to you, it's time to pick out the features that can help you identify this tree in your next walk among the trees. Let's start with the most obvious feature, the fruits. When you see a tall tree with large clusters of olive green or pink fruits hanging from its branches, that's a good way to start identifying it. Look at its leaves. If they are dark green, long and oval, and have wavy edges, then we are on the right track. The leaves droop and are clustered and make the canopy look lush, thick, and unkempt, like unmanageable, unruly hairs of young kids. This tree mostly grows straight. I suppose if you tick off all these features, you can safely say that what you're looking at is a lychee tree. I will post a few photos of the tree in my blog, which you can refer to understand the features clearly. Of course, if you have access to the tree and you know that's a lychee tree, you can always smell and taste the sweet fruits, and then there will be no doubt that it's a lychee. And that's all for today's episode. For all my episodes, I refer to the several resources and add my own observations. You can find the complete list of resources in my blog. You can find the link to my blog in the About tab. Subscribe to Air with Trees podcast in the app of your choice